We stopped working 3 years ago so that we could live our dream of early retirement to slow travel the world. We did that 14 years before state pension for me and a full 17 years for Sarah here.
We recently looked back at our first ever video that was released 3 years ago, almost to the day. And there were 4 uncomfortable facts that we feel we need to tell our younger selves, and you absolutely need to hear too. Because if you take our words seriously, they can change everything for you and give you a whole new perspective, except maybe the last one, which, well, was just uncomfortable.
And we've got some news at the end of this that we'd really like your feedback on too. But let's get straight into it.
Something that loomed large in both our minds 3 years ago was that we actually decided to retire earlier than planned. Neil had a serious accident. He fell down the stairs and sustained potential life-changing and threatening injuries.
Well, the impact on this for me was kind of obvious. What about for you?
Twofold really, practical and emotionally. When you hear healthcare professionals say you were lucky to be alive, and then the type of injury you sustained, they'd never seen anything like it before.
For me, it was a total hammer blow. That's the kind of stuff that happens to other people. Not me, I'm immortal.
But you say the impact on you was obvious, but was it obvious?
Well, it was obvious in as much as I was in a lot of pain. I didn't know what the recovery would be, but something for me was that we had this dream of world travel, and I didn't know whether if we just kicked off and got started on it, that something would happen. I'd have some kind of innocuous injury that would flare up my more serious injury and knock out our entire plan on the head before we even get started. And we could be in a foreign land, and you're there. I've done a catastrophic fail, leading me to be incapacitated, and you're stuck in some country in Asia or the Americas. Where do we go with it from there? So I felt really responsible for you. And also, I remember thinking at the time, probably a sane person would maybe give it another year to recover. But when talking about the impact on me, one of the big impacts was emotional. And really, I had no choice but to just get on and do it there and then.
We were both in that space emotionally.
Let's just go for it. Let's just do it.
So in reality then, 3 years on, should we have been worried about that?
So I'd say that the outcome of the injury is still there. While thinking about making this video and writing a script for us to talk around, my shoulder really started to throb hard. It was like it was saying, hey, you might think you're invincible, but I'm still here. And the thing is, as we were travelling the world, we're meeting so many other people doing the same thing as us. And talking to them, you find everyone's trying to overcome something. And some of the injuries or health scares other people are dealing with were huge.
Far worse.
So for me, it just made me realise, Neil, get over yourself a little bit. We all have issues. Yours isn't any bigger or any smaller than anyone else's. We've all got our own crosses to bear. I guess what you can do as you go through life is find excuses for why not to do something.
You say all that, but also you have had numerous health issues while we've been on the road as well.
None of those though relate to my injury.
No.
I've had a whole range of things happen. The one thing that you need to know is everything you think might happen won't, and all the things you think could never happen do. So our takeaway on this point for you is go live your dream, chill a little bit, because you can't legislate for the issues that are out there. Go for it.
Okay, Neil loves telling his stories. Go for it.
Right, so I do have a story about a woman. She was teaching English as a foreign language and living paycheck to paycheck, but she had a dream. And do you know what she did? She jacked in her job. She'd just gone through a difficult divorce and she's a single mother. It took years for her dream to come to fruition, and she was living off welfare to actually make that happen. And do you know what? That woman, she released her first book, Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. She's now worth $1 billion.
Okay, but our dream is a lot smaller than J.K. Rowling's. So how does that fit in with us?
Well, it does fit in with us because they thought she was a little bit crazy for what she did. And us telling our friends and family that we're doing something totally different, while behind the scenes, we're meticulously selling everything we own. We sold our house, we sold everything so that we could live our dream. It might feel smaller to you, But
it's
that
actually
felt
huge.
pretty huge to
Yeah,
us at the time, didn't it?
Yeah, you talk about friends and family thinking we're crazy. I can absolutely remember your mum, sadly departed, now saying to us, she thinks we're completely giving up on life. Why would we want to travel for 10 years?
Yeah, I always thought that was
like,
strange.
yeah.
When you...
I
Not sure
remember.
how she thought we were giving up on life. It felt like the opposite to us. And my dad, he
Yes.
thought I was running away from something.
Yeah.
He wanted to know, who is it that's after me? Is it that I'm badly in debt, or
Someone's,
how do
you're
we
in
how do we
trouble.
get to the bottom of this and resolve your problem? No one can resolve a problem of a couple of people who are desperate to travel and see the world, can they? No. But when we embarked on our dream, things changed. Have you ever heard of the Bader-Meinhof phenomenon? That's where something that you're unaware of. Give you an example. Let's say you're looking for a new car and you find this whole new manufacturer you've never heard of before, and this crazily wonderful car. You think, wow, I'd love that. Why have I never seen that before? You put down your deposit, and then almost every day you're seeing that car flying past on freeways or in car parking lots or car parks. That's what happened to us when we started to travel. Turns out we're bumping into people left, right and centre doing the same thing.
Yeah.
And then it becomes normal. Everyone we're talking to travels, and when we talk to people in our old world, we say, yeah, while we're in Thailand, they probably think that's pretty exotic.
Yeah.
Talk to people in our new world and you go,
yeah, when we went to Thailand, I go,
we
did you try
did
that?
that. Yeah, did you go there? It's a whole different
normalised
thing.
completely.
So I guess the takeaway for this would be that although whatever your crazy dream or plan is, not everybody thinks it's crazy. You need to just go for it. Make sure you've meticulously, as we did, sorted stuff out so you know whatever it is. It doesn't have to be travel, it could be anything. Whatever it is, seek out the people that are doing it or have the same dream as yours, because believe me, they're out there.
Looking back on that video, it was really obvious that money was a big issue to us as well.
It was, and for me, it felt like a real constant. For 37 years, my employer is injecting money into my bank account on a monthly basis. It was like breathing itself. It was normal. And then that first month after retirement, and the injection stops. Dead. That's what it felt like. Breathing has come to an end. So I challenge anyone that thinks that they feel confident enough to just turn off that injection of money and move into retirement, and for it to be straightforward.
And I think even in the video we spoke about our numbers not being perfect, but we just go for it anyway.
Yeah, that doesn't sound very intelligent,
No.
does it? But the
Not
thing
now.
is, I look back at those two with a sense of sadness. I kind of feel sorry for them looking at that video, because no one's ever confident. If we were sat there then with a $10 million nest egg, we'd likely be thinking to ourselves, feel a lot happier if we had 11 million. Full disclosure here, we didn't have 10 million. Nowhere near 10 million, in fact. And at the time, I felt like I knew everything there was to know about money in retirement. But I can tell you now that before retirement, you can think you got everything perfect, but it's only in retirement when it's real and you're not doing things from books and Excel spreadsheets, that's when things change. Let me use an analogy. Let's say you sat there and you read the book, the encyclopedia on parachuting, and you learn how to pack the perfect parachute, and then how to make the perfect leap from 10,000 feet out of an aircraft. Does that mean you feel totally confident, because you've read that, you're book smart, to pack your own parachute, go up in a plane and jump from 10,000 feet without any support from anybody? Well, if you would do that, you're likely a lot braver than me and a lot more stupid than me, and that I doubt very much.
What, not braver?
No, more stupid. So what do we want you to take away from this? What is it that you can learn from us today if you're feeling how we felt 3 years ago? Well, the first thing is to totally stress test your plan. Don't be book smart with your plan. Maybe investigate doing some Monte Carlo simulations. That's where you can take your plan and run it through thousands and thousands of simulations of different worlds going forward. One of them might be where your lump sum grows to $100 million, or it might be one where things are really challenging going forward. And then you can do what if exercises. You could say, well, what if we don't get social security, that for some reason our government aren't going to give us that? What does that do to our numbers? What if we win the lottery, which would be a bit tricky for us because we don't do the lottery, but so I probably wouldn't use that
What
one,
about
Sarah.
a side hustle? That sort of...
What? What did you say?
A side hustle.
Side hustle. Yeah, absolutely. A side hustle would be good. So we're doing YouTube, and gotta say, if you're looking for a side hustle, that's not going to make things too much more different, apart from the fact that you're going to spend a lot more time sat in front of a camera, stuff like that. So that's what you got to do. You got to totally stress test what you're doing, because you are the CFO of your life, your chief financial officer. And even if you've employed a financial advisor, that's not the end of your work. If your plan goes totally wrong, doesn't matter to them. They can always get another client. The people that it matters to is you and your family. And that's why you cannot rely entirely on a financial advisor. We don't use one. If you choose to use one, we understand why you would. But you are the one responsible. That's the big takeaway from this. Sarah, I've got to tell you about another uncomfortable truth.
Oh.
And that is 3 years ago,
Yeah.
we were awful at YouTube. We were terrible. And this is your fault, because no one told us. So,
No, don't show it.
as they say
Do
on
not show
TV,
it.
Sarah, roll
No.
VT. And as a
No, that's what we're doing.
yep. Ah, that one
Painful.
great. That
Painful.
one great, was it? So if you want to see that video, it is still there on YouTube, but we strongly recommend you give it a wide berth. We're never ever going to watch it again. That's why we're making this video. Thing is, Sarah, something else we want to share with our viewers here is our YouTube channel, To Go Roam, has always been about us, Neil and Sarah, on their early retirement journey.
It has, and we recently did a 5-hour road trip across Spain. The whole time we just talked about our YouTube channel, and we came to some realisation that it has always been about Neil and Sarah, but we think it should now be about you.
And that's why you've not seen a video from us in 4 weeks, because we knew what we wanted to say in this video, we just didn't know quite how to say it.
Yeah.
What we want to do is to help you plan for the most fulfilling retirement possible for you. With everything we've learned in the last 3 years, we've got big plans for our YouTube channel. So if you haven't subscribed, now would be a great time to do so. But more important than that, if you look in the description below this video, you'll see a link to our new newsletter, 2024 newsletter from To Go Roam. And this is all about you. We're not going to pepper you with unimportant things on a weekly basis. We will only send a newsletter when there's something that we think could make a big impact on your retirement plans or when you're in retirement. So please do check that out. We're To Go Roam. Our dream is world travel. What's yours?